This video is going to introduce some basics of shapes and how to use them. I am going to add in a box, and another box, and one more. I want to change these shapes' colors. Whenever you have a shape selected, this menu pops up, and I can change the shape color to blue. I'll change this one to yellow. Now that I have these three shapes, I want to start putting them together. If I zoom in, anytime an object is selected, you get boundary markers. The white squares allow you to make the object bigger in both the X and Y axis. That means I can stretch it this way, or I can stretch it this way just by grabbing this white square. This white square does not make it taller. The white square at the top will make it shorter or taller, but it doesn't make it wider or longer. So I'm going to make this yellow box taller. And if I were to grab one of these black boxes in the center, it would only go in the direction of what I'm selecting. So even if I move my mouse left and right, it's not going to make it wider. I'm going to make it a little bit skinnier. Now that I have this yellow box the way that I want it, I want to put the blue box on top of it. If I were to select the blue box, there is a black triangle, and if I put my mouse on the top of it, I can pick up the blue box and put it in the air. If I push it into the yellow box, I can make it so that the yellow box is inside. I'm going to lift up the blue so that I don't see the yellow at all. But if I wanted to, I could also keep going until it's on top. I am going to push this down a little bit more, and now I'm going to add this red box right here. You could start to build an entire object or sculpture out of this, just putting the shapes together. But I would actually like to combine the shapes. I'm going to move my red box out of the way. Let's pretend that I wanted this to be its own shape, and I'm even going to move this over so that it touches the yellow on that side and adjust it back. And I'm going to pull this shape out. So now I've almost got the top of a doorway, and I want to combine these two shapes. I am going to hold the Shift key and select the yellow box. And when I do select more than one shape, this pops up. It is a square and a circle, but there's no outline for the circle, and we call this group. I'm going to click this, and now my yellow box and my blue box have become one object. So when I move it, it's moving one object. I would like to take this box, and I'm going to make it a bit smaller. I am going to combine these in a different way. So my red box is going through the blue box, but now I want to change the red box into a hole. So I'm going to click on these gray lines, and it is becoming a hole. If I want to cut this out of the blue, I'm going to select using the Shift key, or I can grab my mouse to get my red multi-select tool, and I'm going to hit the group button. When you group a hole with another object, it cuts it out. If I wanted to ungroup this object, because now it is one object, and I do this, it will start with ungrouping the hole. This can be if I needed to readjust the shape. Whoops, I have it all selected. This can be if I needed to adjust the hole and move it, or I could click this blue shape and hit ungroup again, and now I can separate my three objects. I could then pull out the yellow box. So if you are doing this, it can also be how you trim off a piece. I'm going to slide this down, and I'm going to cut off this square from the yellow. If I select the yellow square and I hit group, now I've cut off a chunk of the yellow square. So you can make unique shapes this way. What I would like for you to try as you're getting used to the shapes is also figuring out how to rotate them. You can rotate them on the flat or in 3 dimensions. And for some of these, it takes a moment to get used to. If I'm going to rotate this so that it is straight across, or as close to straight across, and then I can rotate it so it's standing up, I can combine unique shapes. Whoops, I accidentally grabbed the Xbox. Or the black box. And be kind to yourself. Even Miss Cozy has some fumbling moments. If you are hitting a point where it is not doing what you need it to do, please keep in mind that you can be frustrated, or you can just grab a new box, especially if you haven't done anything special with it. Alright, so there we go. I have those pieces combined. And if I wanted to group them, I can. If I want to leave them as separate colors, I can. There's one last thing that I want to show you about making shapes, and that is the shape tools themselves. So if you go into, I'm going to put some of these shapes together. I would like these to line up. I'm going to think if I wanted to put the blue box down and stretch it out. Let's say I want to put this star on top, and to make it easier to see, I'm going to change the box to red. If I wanted to put this star on top of the box, I can sit and try to place it and then focus. Pull it down so that it's touching. And yeah, that's one way you can do it, but it's still not centered. I want it to be perfectly in the center of the box. I'm going to multi-select both, and there is a special tool when you have more than one object that's called Align. The short key for this is L. If you click this, it is going to ask you a series of dots, and you can do an alignment this way, an alignment this way, and here's what this means. When I click this, it's going to move the star in the red box to the center point on this side. If I do it here, it's going to move it to the center exactly on that side. And that is a way that you can also align objects if you were putting them together. So if I have these two pieces and I want them exactly next to each other, I can take this, I can choose my align, and I can say, hey, I want to have both of them next to each other just like this. And do you see how these turn gray? These are already aligned to the same end. If I were to choose this, it also gives you a preview of how it might move something. So if I were to do that, oh, now it is perfectly on top of the other one and I can't see it. So there's nothing to align. If I uncheck the align box, then I can start to lift. Oops, I have both objects selected. I can start to lift an object, and now I know that this is sitting right on the center point. Which one was this one? Oh, mirror. If I select that and I hit mirror, oh, that will flip them over. If you created a set of objects and you were trying to just rotate it, let's say you built something and you want to flip it upside down, you can select the objects and hit mirror. And when in doubt, if you make a mistake, hit Control Z. I forgot there's one last tool. The Scribble. When you click Scribble and you pull it in, it's going to pull up this. This is asking you to draw with your mouse so that you can make your own shape, and it will turn it into a 3D object. So when you like it, you can hit done, and now I have my drawing as a 3D object that I can add on to things. If you need more shapes, click on where it says basic shapes, and you can find some other pieces in there like connectors. You can find characters. You can find text and numbers. I hope that if you have any questions about shapes, you ask me in class, but this is a chance to just play and figure out how some of these things work.